WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru,
बानी गुरु गुरु है बानी विच बानी अमृत सारे गुरबानी कह सेवक जन मानै परतख गुरु निस्तारे वाहो वाहो बानी निरंकार है तिस जेवड़ अवर न कोई तिस जेवड़ अवर न कोई ना हो जति सती नहीं पढ़िया मूरख मुगदा जन्म भया प्रणवत नानक तिनकी सरना जिन तू नाही विसरिया। सत्संग जी रमल के फतेह बानी जी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। So that was an invocation to Guru, and the words that I said were like Guru is Bani and Bani is Guru. What I mean by the word Bani is the words of the Guru. So literally, for a Sikh, the words that Guru Sahib wrote, they are revelation, and those words are our Guru. And in this talk, we're going to go through Guru Granth Sahib. You're quite lucky today, because that is Guru. So we're actually going to spend a whole day talking about our Guru, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Why we're doing it now is because last week we covered Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. And pretty much from the time of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, then Ard Granth is seen as the Guru by a lot of people, like another form of the Guru. Yeah, and obviously from the beginning Bani was respected, but the respect that Guru Arjan Dev Ji showed to Ard Granth Sahib lets a lot of Sikhs then bow down to it. So in the same way, now we go to Gurdwara and Matha take to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. In those days, if you went to Harmandir Sahib, you would actually bow down to Ard Granth Sahib Ji as well. Okay. So what happened last session, we looked at Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj and them accepting martyrdom, being the first Sikh Shaheed. Okay. Their son, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, the sixth Guru, does things like establish a kingdom. Within the Mughal kingdom, they make their own kingdom. Okay. They also have their own army. Okay. So it starts to become slightly different from how the previous Gurus had been. Okay, but we discussed that as an evolution in the stage that was to come. They have their own throne. They keep relationships with the Mughal emperor. They go hunting. It's not the relationship of a slave and a master, but the relationship of two rulers. Okay, and Guru Sahib becomes imprisoned, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, but liberates 52 people when they come out as well. So it wasn't just about, oh, we're free now, we can go, but the fact that even freedom should be shared. Okay, freedom is not something just for us to keep, it's a share. And Guru Sahib is a musician as well. They invent the taus, which is a musical instrument, or some people say they invent the dilruba, and they give priority to the sangat. So sangat being the people, if the Sikh sangat is saying something, then they listen to that. It wasn't just the case that Guru Sahib was a dictatorial leader. Obviously what they said went, but also there was a sort of a sense of the Sangat having a say, so to speak. Yeah, and quite interestingly, given that their father was martyred by a Mughal king who was of an Islamic faith, Guru Sahib still makes a mosque for some of the Muslims in Sri Hargobindpur who didn't have a mosque. And if you haven't seen the 3 facts leaflet, which we have, you can get a copy of that. It's at the front there, and that's one of the things that we brought out in there. Now, why would someone become a Sikh at the time of the 5th and the 6th Guru? So last time we talked about that the Gurus are very inspirational leaders. We call them Sache Pasha, the true king. Okay, and that Gurbani was so powerful. For an ordinary Sikh, that gift of reading Japji Sahib, of reading Anand Sahib, Sukhmani Sahib, these were like major things in their life that changed them. Okay, and they were able to experience God through the Bani. So really, that's what Bani is for. Bani is like a gateway, yeah, to enlightenment. And that it was quite revolutionary what Maharaj did. They came with such amazing ethics. You know, the system was so advanced. Even society now hasn't caught up with it. But 500 years ago, you can imagine it was like a big shock. that there's this kind of egalitarian system, women preaching, women being given a very high status, yeah, talked about in Adi Granth themselves, okay, equality between all mankind, caste, big time, and also that there was a complete system that Guru Sahibs made. They made their own cities, their own temples. Now we had holidays, so the community starts to become very developed, okay. They're celebrating the holidays of the Gurus. That's the holidays Sikhs celebrate. There's a language now. The Guru Sahib has made their own script. There's now a lineage of the Gurus as well. That Guru Arjan Dev Ji's father was Guru Ram Das Ji, then their grandfather, Guru Amar Das Ji. So there's like a family, and also it's not just a lineage of the Gurus, but the Sikhs started to get a lineage. So you know, your great grandfather became a Sikh, and then your grandfather, and everybody had been a Sikh ever since. Yeah, and also that they have their own culture. You know, Guru Angad Dev Ji making a wrestling Gurdwara. Yeah, we don't think of Guru Angad Dev Ji as somebody who wrestled particularly, yeah, but they were. Although they were you know, somebody who made the script, but they also were a wrestler. And Sikhs were encouraged to be fit. And by Bidhi Chand in Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji's time, he's a prominent kind of, you know, warrior as well. We've got our own musicians, our own mantras, things that we would chant, and also our own preachers. So our own parallel system to what's going on in other systems in that area. And also that there's spiritual enlightenment. Talked about that from Gurbani, but also that Guru's kirpa, that Guru's blessings happened. If Guru Sahib met somebody and blessed them, that experience was there. And even now when Guru Sahib blesses the Sikhs, that experience is there. Okay, so that kirpa was real. That's the meaning of the word Gur Prasad. When we say in Mool Mantar, Gur Prasad is not just by the Guru's grace as some kind of academic thing written up on a wall. It means that Guru Sahib is right here, right now, able to bless the Sikhs. Yeah? And when I say right here, right now, I mean here, in this room, Guru Sahib can do kirpa as well. Everywhere they are. Yeah? And that's the kirpa of Naam, the connection to the divine. Yeah? That's the kirpa that Guru Sahib brings. It's not some kind of empty kirpa, it's the ability to connect to our Creator. And obviously now, with the Guru Arjan Dev Ji, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, you see that the Shahidi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji is a very big example. Like even now, Sikhs are taking inspiration from that Shahidi. So you can imagine that what happened back then, the fortitude they showed, the fact they were able to accept God's will, even under such duress of being tortured, of being burnt, that was an inspiration to a lot of people that know we should follow our Guru's example of being strong, okay, and accepting God's will. But also that Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji now, when they start becoming a ruler, they become a very benevolent ruler. They're giving justice to people. People are coming to them if they have problems. They're making an Akal Takht, the throne of God, and they're ruling from there like a king, okay. So Sikh is no longer like, oh, this just is, I like to go to that Baba. You know, like nowadays you get Sikhs who are like, my family goes to this Baba. It wasn't like that. This was some next level person, and he was changing the world around him, okay. And there was a lineage. Also, the righteous warriors. You know, when there's like, when things are happening which are worthwhile giving your life for, that's when people who want to do that kind of stuff step forward. Yeah. When there's a cause, then those warriors step up. So now you get this feeling in the town, in the community, not just town, but the country, that there is this cause that Guru Har Gobind Sahib is making an army of people that are going to out there to fight against the Mughal kingdom, yeah, to actually do things for the right reason. And so people who are attracted to that step forward and they join up, okay. So you've got this culture now of a martial race coming up, okay. And these people that were downtrodden, they were low caste, they were not allowed to be armed. Okay, that was a culture. These people are now joining the Khalsa army. Not the Khalsa army, but back then it was called the Akal Sena. Yeah, the word Sena means army as well. Yeah? So the army of God. And they would be armed. And they would be out there living as warriors. Okay, so this becomes very attractive as well to some people. So this week we're going to look at Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Just because at that time a very similar Granth was there. But in many ways this is our Guru now. But it's very interesting. So we can ask that now. How many people in this room, you know, there's no shame in it, but just say, how many people have actually looked at Guru Granth Sahib Ji? Maybe turned the pages themselves, the angs themselves. And put your hands up a bit higher because I really can't see it at the moment. Okay, you can see that in this room it's less than half. Okay, so less than half of Sikhs, and it's a common thing. Guru is a Granth, it's a text, and yet you've got this crazy situation where Sikhs aren't able to read the text. Okay, and Sikhs are not looking at the text and even understand how it's structured. It's like an enigma to them. They just know it's at the front and you bow down to it. but you don't know what else. So this week we're going to look through these things, okay? The history of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, how it came to be a Guru. We're going to look at how, this is a very important topic, how can a Granth, the word Granth means a text or an anthology, how can a Granth be a Guru? Okay? A lot of people struggle with this as well. Okay? We're going to look at the structure and the facts about Guru Granth Sahib Ji, how it's structured as a text as well. Okay? And famous Gurbani compositions by the Gurus that you might have heard about, you know, and also some of the Bhagats separate from the Gurus that are inside Guru Granth Sahib Ji, like Sheikh Farid Ji, Bhagat Kabir Ji. Who are these people that we hear, but we don't know what their life history might be like? Then also, a lot of us might not even know that these people exist, but there's these people called the Bhatts. Okay? They're the poets who are the poets in the Guru's courts, and they're right as well. And we're going to talk about what are their backgrounds like, and some interesting stories about those people, yeah? And also questions. Like last time we talked some common questions, we're going to actually ask a few questions and talk about those in more detail, yeah? People can share your thoughts as well. And just not going to cover in detail, but just mention some of the other texts that are out there, okay? Okay, history of Guru Granth Sahib Ji now. It's almost like, you know, we talked about the history of the Gurus, you know, who was whose cousin, who was whose uncle. This is how Guru Granth Sahib Ji was constructed. Very important to know this history as well, yeah? Firstly, there was something called Pothi Sahibs. Now, Pothi, that word is still used now. It's just like a bigger than a Gutka, yeah, and smaller than a Granth, right? So it's like a, say, you might have, you know, I don't know, quarter of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, or half of Guru Granth. That would still be called a Pothi, okay? Guru Nanak Dev Ji had a Pothi, yeah? When they went to Mecca, you see the Imams of that time ask them, look inside your book and tell us who's better, Hindu or Muslim, okay? So they had a Pothi. Also, as it goes on, all the Gurus had a Pothi, because Guru Nanak Dev Ji hands that Pothi to Guru Angad Dev Ji. Guru Angad Dev Ji hands a bigger Pothi to Guru Amar Das Ji. And what you see also is that Guru Amar Das Ji, they have a Pothi, but they give that Pothi to their son. Or it's in their house, and it goes to their son, effectively, by Mohan Ji, or Baba Mohan Ji. Okay? Now, Guru Arjan Dev Ji actually sent first by Guru Das Ji and Baba Buddha Ji to go and get that Pothi from Mohan, Baba Mohan Ji. But he didn't want to give it. He said, let him come himself. Now we talked about that he'd been a little bit gutted in a way, that he didn't get the Guruship. Okay? So there was a little bit of hankar in him as well. But Guru Arjan Dev Ji, interestingly, didn't go there with, like, you know, how you might now, you know, with his army, and to say, I am the Guru, give me the Pothi. They go there very humbly, and they sing to him. They serenade Mohan, and they get the Pothi off him. And it's brought back to Amritsar on a palki, and Guruji walks, just like nowadays Guru Granth Sahib Ji is carried, in the same way that respect is shown. Okay, all the way back to Harmandir Sahib. Also, that there were imposters around at the time. Okay, Prithi Chand, the eldest brother of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, he's out there writing Bani, yeah, and signing it off that he is Nanak. Yeah, so you got imposters taking place. Imagine that. You know, he knows he wasn't given the Gurgadi by his own father, but yet he's pretending that he was. Okay? So, and then Ard Granth finally gets compiled by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, yeah? And it's recited, parts of it obviously taken from this text, parts of it are recited by Guruji themselves, okay? The Bhagat Bani is put in, and by Gurdas Ji is the scribe, okay? They are writing. So when you see pictures sometimes, of Baba Buddha Ji, for example, there, or you see by Gurdas Ji, they're writing, and at the same time you've got Guru Arjan Dev Ji then reciting to them, okay? And that's why you see the word should, which is like a little word at the end of a lot of Bani, especially Asa Diwali, you might have heard it. And the word should means checked, or, you know, pure. And that's Guruji ticking to say that whatever Bhai Gurdas Ji has written, they've checked it and it is right, okay? Maybe there might have been some onkurs or some kind of, you know, some of the words were spelt wrong. They changed that and they made it should. Now, as per Sikh tradition, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, when they read the Bani of the Bhagats, it wasn't that they just took it from some text from elsewhere, okay? Because all the Bhagats, most of the people that are in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they're already passed away by then, okay? So they came to visit Guruji in spiritual form. Now we say in Bani, in Japji Sahib, Na oh mare, na thage pai, jinke Ram base man mahe. Those who were one with Akal Purakh, they don't die. their souls live on forever in Amarpuri. Yeah, the land, the forever land you might call it, where your soul lives on as a spirit. Now those spiritual people, they came back and they gave that Bani directly to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. Yeah? And Bhai Gurdashi, the story goes that Bhai Gurdashi, he wrote a lot of stuff as well. And he was rather hoping that some of his stuff would go in. They thought Guruji's writing, putting stuff in. Maybe they'll put some of my Bani in. And the story goes that Guru Angad Dev Ji said to him, Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj said to Bhai Gurdashi, come a bit earlier tomorrow. And when they came a bit earlier, they saw where the Bani was coming from, that all the Bhagats were there. And they realized like the level of where the Bani is from. And they realized their own ahankar in wanting to include their Bani in something that was being ordained by God directly. It wasn't something which was just coming about just because Guru Arjan Dev Ji wanted it to happen. It was being ordained this way. Okay. Then Ard Granth gets installed in Harimandir Sahib, okay, in 1604. The reason I say 1604, good to remember, is that in 2004 we celebrated 500 Saal Guru De Naal, yeah, 500 years with Ard Granth. Yeah, see, that was celebrated in 2004. So now 1604, 2 years later, Guru Arjan Dev Ji becomes Shaheed. Okay, so it wasn't very long after Ard Granth. Now what's interesting is when it's installed in Harmandir Sahib, okay, Guruji doesn't become the first Granthi. Okay, they actually make Baba Buddha Ji the Granthi, head Granthi of Harmandir Sahib. Now why does Baba Buddha Ji become the Granthi? Anybody want to hazard a guess? Why not Guruji themselves? It's close. Guruji wanted people to focus upon the Granth. Now if Guru Angad Arjan Dev Ji is sitting behind Ard Granth, okay, when you bow down to Ard Granth, you're thinking you're bowing to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, innit? Yeah, if Baba Buddha Ji is sitting there, he's clearly not the Guru, everybody knows him as a Sikh of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, everybody knows him basically, then they're going to realize they're bowing to the Granth. Okay, so it was getting people to attach themselves to the Bani. Okay, so that Shabad we read at the beginning, Bani Guru, Guru hai Bani, which Bani Amrit Sare. That's in Ard Granth at that time. Okay, so people have been told now follow Bani as your Guru. You know, this Sunday is going to be like the sort of anniversary of Baba Buddha Ji. Yeah, so it's just if you haven't heard about him, hands up how many people have heard about him over the weeks that I've been talking. Or yeah, is everybody here clear about who he was? So Baba, just to recap, because it's a great story of theirs. You know, they were the Sikh of Guru Nanak. Yeah, as a young child, they'd met Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and because they'd been such a dedicated Sikh of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, that when Guru Nanak gave the Gurgaddi to Guru Angad Dev Ji, they were the person who was given the charge of being the master of ceremonies. They put the tikka and the, you know, all that kind of the Gurgaddi signs upon Guru Angad, and they did that for every single Guru, and including they were the one that went to Lahore to bring Guru Arjan Dev Ji back when they were in Lahore from Guru Ram Das Ji sent them. Yeah, so they were a very, very eminent person. They're one of the two people who were used to make Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Make the Akal Takht. Yeah, when Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, a small child, makes Akal Takht, Baba Buddha Ji is there to help him make it. Okay, and they lived to a ripe old age of 125. Yeah, so they weren't exactly, you know, at this time. But in fact, they actually taught Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji how to fight as well. And they would have been about 100 years old at that time, and they were still teaching Guru Sahib how to fight. So you know, like you see Fauja Singh now running at such an old age. Okay, Baba Buddha Ji was like that. They weren't probably chubby as you might think. You know, they're probably really lean, like Bhai Fauja Singh is. And the respect shown by Guru Arjan Dev Ji is evident there. They would sleep on the floor, okay, and Ard Granth was given their own bed. Now, we talked about last time, some Gurdwara are not giving Guru Granth Sahib Ji their own bed. Even though Guruji was giving their own bed to Guru Granth Sahib Ji, now we start thinking, oh, you know, that would be some kind of ritualism. It's our king. We're calling a Sache Pasha, Tana Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and yet it's not worthy of a bed nicer than ours. Come on. We've got to start thinking about these things as well. Yeah? Respect is shown. It's not just meant always internal. You try saying, I love my mum, and then treat her like that. She's not going to believe that you respect her. Okay? And there's spaces left in the Ard Granth at this time. Okay? Why? Because there is yet the Bani to be added, okay, before it's completed, of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the 9th Guru, who's the grandson of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Okay? Because Guru Arjan Dev Ji's son is Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, and their son is Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Okay. Just to recap that, the family tree is really important to learn. Yeah, who is who? It's good because otherwise you won't understand like how come Sikhs followed all the gurus. Because like a disconnect. There's no point knowing the names of the gurus and not knowing the family tree as well. In fact, it's almost like a family forest rather than a tree. There's so many people, related in that environment. Okay, carrying on to the history. So what you get with Ard Granth and the spaces left, it then stays unchanged. Okay. Now obviously Guru Arjan Dev Ji is Shaheed, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji passes on, okay, Jyoti Jyot, and then Guru Har Rai becomes a guru, the grandson of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Yeah? Now what happens is that the son of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, okay, is Baba Gurditta. Baba Gurditta's son becomes Guru Har Rai. Okay, so their grandson, right? Now Baba Gurditta has an older son as well, who is this person, Tirmal. Okay, now so Tirmal is now the elder brother of Guru Har Rai. You get it? Just like Priti Chand is the elder brother of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Yeah? So he's the elder brother, but he's a grandson of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Yeah? Two grandsons, one is a guru, one is Tirmal. Tirmal ends up staying at Kartarpur, the Kartarpur of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Yeah? He ends up staying there while Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji likes to live at Kiratpur. But the Ard Granth, the original Ard Granth that was installed, okay, it's still around. And that's the one that's kept at Kartarpur. Okay. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji, much later, it stays with Tirmal. And Tirmal keeps it because there's not much, in terms of years, from Guru Har Rai to Guru Gobind Rai, there's not much. Yeah? Because remember, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji is Guru for 3 years. Okay. Then Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji is Guru for not many years. Okay. And so straight away you get this kind of like it's not very long, and Guru Gobind Rai is now the Guru. And when it gets to Guru Gobind Singh Ji after 1699, in 1705 then, Guruji says, let's compile, okay, the Guru Granth. Okay, they start to say, let's compile the Ard Granth again. The Granth has to be written down in 1705. Now remember, the Chote Sahibzade, Vade Sahibzade are all Shaheed by now, the sons of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Yeah? And this happens in 1705. Okay, they stay. Guru Sahib then says, I want to have the text brought back to me. They send emissaries to Tirmal in Kartarpur to say, give me back the Granth, okay, that was given to you by your grandfather or your father, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Yeah? Your father is Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Father is Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Grandfather is Guru Arjan Dev Ji. So they asked for that back. But Tirmal, he wanted to be the Guru at the time of Guru Har Rai. And he said, no. He said, if you're the Guru, okay, because he was trying to pretend to be the Guru at that time, he said, if you're the Guru, do it yourself. Yeah. So what happens is that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, then in 1705 at Damdama Sahib. Now why Damdama? Damdama means having a rest. So they stayed there for some time. That's what's called Damdama. It didn't exist beforehand. They made it. At Damdama Sahib, in Sabu Talwandi, then Guru Gobind Singh Ji stays there, and in 6 months they write the whole Guru Granth Sahib Ji, okay, from scratch and from memory. Okay, 1430 youngs. They include in that time the Bani of their father. Okay, that gets added at that point. Okay, so the original bead which is in Kartarpur, that bead hasn't got the Bani of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Okay, Guru Gobind Singh Ji makes that bead. 1705. At this time, okay, is the kind of, if you know of something called Damdami Taksal, okay, they take their starting from this time. Damdama Sahib, Damdami Taksal. Taksal literally means a mint where the coins are made. Okay, and it's like a school, a training school about Bani. Because what Guru Gobind Singh Ji does at this time is they actually sit down every day, recite the Bani in the morning. Bhai Mani Singh is writing it down, and then in the evening they do katha of the Bani that they recited today. Okay, now that katha, then the Sikhs are listening to that katha. So you imagine over 6 months. Okay, this is 3 years before they are Jyoti Jyot. Okay, so they do the katha of the entire Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Yeah, in 6 months. In the morning they recite the Bani, in the evening they do katha of it. Bhai Mani Singh was a scribe at this point. So Guru Sahib would sit and they would read the Bani. Bhai Mani Singh's writing it down. It would be checked. Okay. Baba Buddha, not Baba Buddha Ji, sorry. Shaheed Baba Deep Singh Ji, yeah, who was in Shaheed later on. They were the secondary scribe at this point. So they were like a pupillage of Bhai Mani Singh. Okay, and they would work together. And then in the evening, the katha, which means the explanation of that shabad that was read out during the day, would be run out. Because the Singhs who said, Maharaj, teach us the meaning of this Bani as well so we can say it properly. And Guru Sahib would then teach them how to pronounce it, Santhya. So that's what Taksal is very famous for, Santhya. Santhya means how to pronounce Bani properly. Okay, and also then the katha. Now what's interesting is at that point there was about 40 people, okay, who listened to the entire katha from Guru Gobind Singh Ji's own mouth. Okay, so you can imagine, like, and a lot of them at the end of this katha, they said, we don't want to live anymore. We've had so much bliss, 6 months of learning. They left there, they decided to leave. They decided to give up their souls and just ascend to heaven. Yeah, it was unbearable. In Bani there's a word that comes up, ajar. Ajar means ki tusi jar nahi sakde. You can't say nahi sakde. It's just so much, you know, you could just so much for them to cope with this, the katha of Guru Granth Sahib Ji from Guru Gobind Singh Ji's own mouth. They just blissfully died in bliss and decided to ascend to heaven. Now at this point, most of those 40 actually ascended to heaven. You might say, oh, what a loss. That's all right, they'll come back. Point is, they went up and Bhai Mani Singh was brought back and Baba Deep Singh was brought back. So, you know, you got work to do. Okay, the rest of these guys were allowed to leave. Okay. Now, Guru Sahib does not include their own Bani at this point. Okay. I will say there is a bit of a not controversy. It's like there's a view, okay, which many people ascribe to, that Guru Gobind Singh did put 3 of their own dohiras, because they write a lot of dohiras, yeah, like we say dohira sagal dwar ko chhod ke. So dohira, they put 3 of those into, at the end of Slok Mahla. What you see is there's some dohiras, okay, and it's almost like a conversation between Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji and Guru Gobind Singh Ji, yeah, or Guru Gobind Rai at that time. You know, when they were in 1675, when Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was in Delhi, at that point it's like a conversation. So in some of the really old granths, you will actually see Mahalla Daswa put in. But leaving that aside, it's not a biggie. Yeah. Point being, because it's not ascribed, we don't have to worry about it too much. The point being for us is that majoritarily, nearly all the things that Guru Gobind Singh Ji writes is not put into Ard Granth. Now a lot of people have questions about this here. Why? Yeah. I think the easiest way to just, it's kind of, you may think I was brushing it over or whatever, but my view is Guru Sahib is basically perfect. If they decide to do something, a Sikh just has to accept that. And that's what the Guru Sahib did. That's what they decided to do. That's fine. Yeah. Now, when it may come to saying, okay, why did they do that, as opposed to why didn't they do it? Not question the Guru, but just try to work out why. Then, in that case, the only kind of explanation that I can offer you, which for me rings true, is that Guru Granth Sahib Ji is Jagat Guru. It is Guru. Okay. So it's Jagat Guru. The Gurus were all teachers for the entire world. So it's a world teacher. Okay. That's what the word Jagat Guru means. So it teaches everybody in the world, right? But Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Bani, a lot of it was specifically for the Khalsa, okay, to strengthen them. So all the warrior Bani. So that's not really Jagat Guru. People can read it if they want, it's available, but it was meant specifically for the Khalsa, okay, and the teachings were meant for the Sikhs. So they didn't put that in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, because anybody can learn from Guru Granth Sahib Ji, but they're not necessarily, they might become, it's kind of like the worldly teachings, yeah. So spirituality, more spirituality orientated, yeah. But anybody could take that and they don't have to become a Sikh. They can just learn from it. But some of the stuff that Guru Gobind Singh Ji writes is specifically for the Sikhs to learn, because they're going to have to become those saint soldiers, okay, fighting for the world. So that's the way that I look at it. Now, but at that point, let there be no question, Sikhs would read every day the Bani of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Okay, remember Guru Sahib at this point is 33. They were in 1699. Okay, so in 1705 they're about 39 years old. Okay, so when they were 16 years old, they wrote Akal Ustad and they wrote Jab Sahib. So from they were 16 to 39, every day every Sikh would be reading Jab Sahib. Okay, so it wasn't the case the Bani wasn't read. People would be reading Akal Ustad, Chandi Diwar. Yeah, these things were read commonly, but yet it's not put into Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Okay. In 1708 then, Guru Gobind Singh Ji takes the Granth that they made in Damdama Sahib, and they now matha take to the Granth, and they say from now on the Granth will be the Guru. Okay, and then they give the Guruship to the Granth, becomes Guru Granth Sahib Ji, but they also then leave. Okay, but it's interesting because some people say, well, that was the time that it became the Guru. But remember, people have been bowing to Ard Granth Sahib since over 100 years ago, in 1604. Okay, and also in 1677, I think, or 1697, before the Khalsa was made, Guru Gobind Singh Ji says specifically, the Granth is my form. Okay, Granth being the Ard Granth is my form. So it wasn't the case that Sikhs weren't told that Guru Granth Sahib Ji or Ard Granth Sahib Ji is Guru. Okay, they knew that. There's different stories about Guru Gobind Singh Ji and their Jyoti Jyot time. Okay, by the by, okay, which story we'll cover that later on when we come to it. But effectively, from that point on, Guru Granth Sahib Ji is treated as Guru. It's called Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Okay, and also that for us, it's interesting because this is the only scripture amongst nearly all the scriptures in the world that is checked and authenticated and compiled and signed off and sealed off by the Gurus. I use that word specifically, sealed off, because as we'll come to later, Gurbani is a specific numbering system which you can't change. Okay, if you change one bit, it throws everything off. So it's very specifically made in this way. We're going to talk about that in a second. Okay. Now, key thing first is to work out, can a Granth be a Guru? Now the word Granth, its meaning is a anthology or text. Okay, there's many Granths. And so the word Granth comes up in Japji Sahib many times as well. Okay, so first one is, how can Guru Granth Sahib Ji be our Guru? The first thing for a Sikh is Guru's hukam. Guru Sahib orders this to be so. Okay, they say specifically in Bani that Gurbani is the Guru. So every Sikh, obviously, Sikhi is about following Guru. Yeah? If you take Guru out of Sikhi, it's nothing. It's just a nice, kind of moral system. But without that love for Guru, we're never going to get experience what Sikhi is really about. Okay? Guru Sahib themselves is what Sikhi is about. So, and they also, Gurbani makes it clear that Bani is from God. It's not just Guru Sahib writing it out. It's direct revelation. Okay. Not only is Bani from God and Guru is Bani, but also Amrit is made from Bani. So if you're to become a Sikh, then you have to have a Guru to make you a Sikh. And now Bani is what makes you Amritari. Okay? It's always been the case that before that, Guru Sahib themselves will sanctify the water with their feet. They would touch their feet and people would drink that Charan Amrit. And from now on, it's being sanctified by the Guru in the form of a weapon and Guru in the form of the words. Okay. So Guru came with the word. That's what they said when we talked about Guru Nanak Dev Ji. They said they were sent to sing the Shabad. Now they come as the word and they go back into the word. Yeah, the word became flesh, if you might say. Like the kind of what you hear from the Bible. And now the word became flesh and they went back to the word for us. So, and also with that conversation I mentioned, I think I may have mentioned it. If I haven't, there's a video on our channel, okay, called 3 Forms of Guru. Very easy to watch. And it's only about 5 minutes long. And it specifically talks about a conversation between Guru Gobind Singh Ji and Bhai Nand Lal Ji. And specifically in that conversation, Bhai Nand Lal Ji interestingly asked Guruji, what are you? Yeah. Good question, because people get confused now. What is Guru then? Is he a teacher? Is he my enlightener? Is he God? Yeah. They ask him, what are you? Maharaj says, I got 3 forms. Look at that. And he says, listen carefully, Bhai Nand Lal, I got 3 forms. So we might all be Bhai Nand Lal because they recorded this conversation for us. It's still available. And it is literally a conversation. You see, like you have in a conversation, you get said that person and said that other person. Well, in this it says, Sri Nand Lal Vach and Sri Guru Vach. Vach means the words. So it actually tells that what Guru Sahib is saying, Nand Lal is questioning. And it's actually, another word for it is Prashan Uttar. Prashan means a question, Uttar means a response. So it's a Q&A with Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Yeah? So it's really, really vital. All of us at some point read that Q&A with Guru Gobind Singh Ji directly. Okay? You can read it on your phones. Yeah. It's available. If you've got an Android, you can get Gurbani Searcher and download that conversation, and it's translated into English as well. Okay? So it's pretty cool. And it's called Rehatnama. Literally, the word for it is Rehatnama. It's also called Prashan Uttar. So, Pai Nandal Ji's conversation with Guru Gobind Singh Ji. What Guru Sahib says is, when he's asked that question, what are you? Maharaj says, I got 3 forms. Okay, which is Sargun, which is, they say, is the Sikh. Then they say Nirgun. And then they say the Guru Shabad. These 3. The word, the Sikh, and the spirit. And what they say about the spirit, they say that spirit, the Nirgun form, which has no quality, is ethereal. Yeah? Is that wrong? Ethereal. I knew that sounded wrong. Ethereal, as in you can't touch it. Yeah? And that, they say, is the light inside everybody. When they ask, what does that mean? Ethereal. They say it's the light inside everybody. Nirgun. Nothing you can touch. Yeah? And who is inside everybody? God. Yeah? Big clue. When they ask, what's your 3rd form? They say, it's ethereal, and they say, it's inside everybody. Nirankar, Nirgun, i.e. God. And then they say, that the Sikh is my form. My physical form is a Sikh. They don't even say me. Look at the amount of humility they have. They don't even say that I am my physical form. They say the Sikh is my physical form. Now who is the special form of Guru now? The special, Khas form. Khalsa. Mera roop hai Khas. Khas means special. So the Khalsa is now the Guru's form. And the spirit form is inside all of us. Yeah, it's God. And then the 3rd form, they say, is the word, Guru Shabad. So he's still the Guru now. Yeah. Does it serve the purpose of a Guru? Yeah. What is a Guru? Right? Why is Gurbani a Guru? Because it serves a purpose. Let's look at that. Okay. Firstly, Gu to Ru. Yeah. Darkness to light. Very simple translation of Guru, right? Now, actually, you can get enlightenment from Guru Granth Sahib Ji directly. Because every single Sant Mahapurush who's come around has sang Gurbani, read part, okay, and then applied those, and also read it and experienced it, and they said, look, I was enlightened by the grace of part and Bani, okay, of Guru. So you can do that. Also, what is God? How does one get enlightened? It doesn't happen like a big finger from God comes down and points on you and says, you are now enlightened. Yeah, God's inside us, right? We point up there all the time when we talk about God, isn't it? But scientifically, we all know up there is just space, right? Planets. God isn't up there, is it? Otherwise you'd be able to detect this magnetic influence of this being called a God. It's not. It's inside. So where is God going to be found? Inside us. So the man is going to become God. Yeah. Man vase nirankar. The whole point is that God comes inside the mind. Okay. So the mind in Gurbani, if you look at the last body of Japji Sahib, it talks about the gold. Yeah, it talks about gold and the process of making gold. Because when you get gold ore, it's not very like you wouldn't put it around your neck. Gold ore, you have to refine it. You work upon it. You heat it up. Yeah, and take out all the impurities, and finally it becomes gold. You can make a coin out of it. So it's really important. If you want to understand this, read the Katha. Or listen to the Katha on Japji Sahib on our channel on the last body, 38th body of Japji Sahib. Okay? And it's all about this concept. And actually, this whole purification of the gold inside us, we are gold ore. The mind is gold ore. Yeah? Gold's there, but what it's got is loads of other stuff attached to it. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar, Homme. Once you start to get to wipe those things out, the mind itself becomes purified and it becomes gold. And that's why in Japji Sahib, when you get to Saram Khand, it says that Saram Khand is amazing. It's the 3rd Khand of the 5, the path of enlightenment. Yeah, we're going to put up a katha very soon called the 5 Khands. It's just 1 hour talking about the 5 Khands. When you get to Saram Khand, they say, Tithe Kadiye Surta Mat Man Buddh. It's a 4-fold state of mind. These 4 things get improved. Kadiye means like you end up having like a rock, and if a carver, not a carver, but a sculpture came to a rock, they would then sculpt that rock into something which is beautiful. But before that, it's just a lump of rock. So in the same way, our mind is this lump. It needs to be fixed up. And how it's fixed up is these 4 things get fixed up. Surt is our level of awareness and where our focus is. Okay? Our mat is like our wisdom. Where do we look to when we make a decision? Right? On a day-to-day basis, that's what they're saying. Don't make a decision without thinking. Right? That means don't just act straightly out of instinct. Okay? Then think. And where do we think from? We look to our highest wisdom. Yeah? Look to all the examples that we might know about. So this is the mat, and then we need Gurmat for that. Guru's mat. Yeah? So you fix up these four things: your consciousness, level of awareness, your wisdom, your mind itself and how it works, whether it thinks negatively, whether it thinks positively, all these. And then the fourth thing is your buddh, your personal level of wisdom. Not just the examples you teach from Guru, but your personal level of wisdom, the experience you go through. Okay? This is all in the mind. It's the mind. It's not a game outside. We're not going to leave our body and transcend to heavenly realms just out there. It's going to be an internal purification. So God's in the mind. God's to be found inside. Bahar nahi andar hai. So therefore, the mind, the purification of the mind, is done by Bani, okay, by meditation. So Guru can do that, because Gurbani can do that, still now. We can get advice from Guru. Guru Granth Sahib Ji works as a store of advice. Now, a lot of Sikhs nowadays, really sad thing, don't actually ask Guru Granth Sahib Ji for any advice whatsoever. And yet, in that conversation we talked about now with Bhai Nandal Ji, Guru Gobind Ji specifically says, if you want my bachan, my advice, then go to listen to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And the method is very simple, Hukamnama. You go to Guru Granth Sahib Ji, you do Ardas, apne dilon, as you want to, yeah? And then they just open Guru Granth Sahib Ji in a random ang. And the first shabad on the left hand side starts, is your advice from your Guru. Now you might say, whoa, it's a bit of a random game, you know. Put my life in the hands of a... But you know what, it's worked. Every time I've asked, every single person I know who's asked, it's worked. And if you use that to guide your life, guaranteed your life will be blessed. Yeah? Because it's Guru, and Hukamnama is the way. So you can even go on Sikh-net, Sikh to Max, you can type in random shabads. And in fact, Guru Sahib says that every morning a Sikh, before they even have their breakfast, should take Hukamnama and get the Guru's advice for the day. That's why when you go to Gurdwara, first thing you see is Aaj da Hukamnama. You've seen it. You ever wonder, like, why is it written up on the board outside? Yeah, but actually you're meant to read it before you even have your breakfast. Okay, so people do go to Gurdwara first thing in the morning and they read the Hukamnama. And there's many famous examples of this happening as well. A very, very famous example is once a whole bunch of low caste people came to Amritsar to take Amrit. And at that time, the kind of people who were in charge, they didn't want these low castes to become Sikhs, because it would upset the voting system. You know, like nowadays the Gurdwaras kind of restrict voting to certain times, because they don't want everybody to become voters, because then they might not be in power anymore. So what happens is, when they come in, they say, we're not going to let you take Amrit. And the low caste, you would say, the leader says, why don't we take a Hukamnama? They're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's take a Hukamnama. Hukamnama came up and it said that Guru Sahib seeks the company of the lowest of the low. Doesn't want to copy the high people. Yeah. So on just because of that, those people actually had sharam. They realized that Guru Sahib means that they should be allowed, and they did take Amrit. Yeah. So many miracles have happened because of Hukamnama. Okay, what else? Carry on the Granth. Guru Sahib is treated like a Guru as well. Okay, it's not just physically said as a Guru, we treat it that way as well. Okay, we go to the Prakash in the morning, they come down. Imagine the Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji, if they were coming down from Akal Takht, yeah, to Harmandir Sahib, Sikhs would be lined up, wouldn't they, to welcome them there. And the same way, the enthronement of Guru Sahib, when they sit down and then the first word they speak out of the day, people listen to that. Yeah, and also Sukhasan, Guru Sahib going for the day, is treated like a Guru. And sometimes I look at Guru Sahib walking when they come down from Sachkhand, we call now Sukhasanistan. When they come down, and you see all the Sikhs like following them, and it reminds me of Guru Hargobind Sahib Ji. You know, when they came out of Gwalior, and there's 52 Rajas holding on to them, because they know that if they hold on to this Guru, they will be saved. Yeah, and it's like a sea of people, and right at the front is Guru Sahib, and they're just following along, like, you know, just hold on to their Guru and they will be saved. Yeah. They're given a royal insignia as well. Guru Sahib can't just be kept, you know, like in a library on a shelf. Yeah. They're kept with Chandoa. Chandoa is that kind of, on top of them there's like a you know, the cloth that's hung up. Yeah. And that's a royal insignia as well. The Chaur of someone always, being at their service. Okay. Also, the sucham. Sucham means how we approach Guru Granth Sahib Ji. We don't just walk in and have snacks now, walk in and start reading Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Wash our hands, take our socks off. Yeah. Treat it, and sometimes people even cover their face before they start reading, so no spit comes from their mouth onto Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It's treated with a lot of respect. Okay. And sometimes people coming from outside into Sikhi, they find that a little bit, strange, or they have to get used to that. But it's just respect for what is actually Guru, because Guru speaks through Bani. Okay, I think it's a very important way of inculcating respect for Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Okay, when we're little, okay, what our parents value, we learn to value. Okay, so it's the same way. If you teach your kids how to respect Guru Sahib, when I say kids, I mean anybody coming into Sikhi. Okay, if we teach them the respect for Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they will then pay that much more respect to what comes out of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Yeah, the words. Also, cool thing about Guru Granth Sahib Ji, wherever they are, you get a Gurdwara. Yeah, it actually makes a Gurdwara happen. That's what a Guru would do. Wherever Guru was, Gurdwara would be there, right? In the same way, wherever Guru Granth Sahib Ji automatically becomes a Gurdwara. What are the examples of this? Yeah, you have Sangat, people saying down to Kirtan, and you also have Pangat, Langar. You don't get charged. You go to any house program and you can have a meal, can't you? It becomes Langar there. They don't say, oh, khana kha lo. They say Langar shaklo. They say Langar in it because it becomes Langar straight, because Guru Granth Sahib Ji there is now a Gurdwara. Okay? Equality, straight away. Everybody's sitting down equally. Before, had you come outside to that house, like in India, I'll give you an example, yeah? I don't know if you guys ever been to India much, but when the poor people come to your door in India, right? Like say your cleaner. Even the Sikh families, they do this now, yeah? When the cleaner comes to the house to clean, they have a separate glass and plate for that cleaner. If they're going to have a meal, they have a separate one. And they feed that person a separate plate. Very common thing. Don't think, you might think, that's horrible. A very, very common behavior in India, yeah? That they have a special different plate, different glass, and they always use that one. And they expect it as well. Yeah? They'd be very surprised that they got a china plate. Yeah? Now, I totally just think it's horrible. Not saying I'm condoning it. But now, you can't do that when the Guru Granth Sahib is at home and you're having langar. Can't do it. Everybody has the same langar, same plate. Yeah? See, Gurdwara is there. Because where God is, God looks equally. God looks equally. Guru looks equally. So where Gurdwara is, we have to look equally. Can't distinguish. Only Gurbani can be sung there. You can't bring Guru Granth Sahib Ji to your house and start rapping out in front of it, or playing some rock music. Can't be done. Has to be Gurbani only. Yeah? Or by Gurdasi Wara, or by Nandal Ji's Bani. So therefore, you get this atmosphere of truth, the ultimate truth being sung. It's not the only form of Guru. Yeah? It is our Guru, right? But it is one form of our Guru. Okay? Because also there remains the spiritual part of Guru who can bless us. And also remains the Khalsa. Yeah? Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the light of Guru, but the Khalsa is the physical body of that Guru. Now, to explain that a bit further, think of in Anand Sahib, Guru Sahib describes how a body is made. They say, Har jiyo gupa andar rakhe vaja pan vijaya. So the body is made first, and inside that body, the breath is blown in of life. And that life then brings a light with it, soul. Yeah? That's how the body is made. First the body is made, then the soul is put inside it. Now, Guru Granth Sahib Ji was given to us in 1708, right? Formally became our Guru. And in 1699, the body was made, the Khalsa. So first the body is made, the Guru Khalsa, and then light is given to us. Okay, it's complete. So basically, you can serve the Panth and get the same blessings as if you do Seva of the Granth. Yeah? And Guru Gobind Singh is very clear about this. The Panth being the body of the Khalsa. Guru Gobind Singh doesn't say, oh no, everybody's equal. They say something very interesting. They say, I only like to serve the Khalsa. The preference to the Khalsa was always given by Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Yeah? Because they said, this is the Guru. How can I not give preference to the Guru? Yeah? And I'll give you an example of that. When you go to Gurdwara now, one of the things that doesn't happen is a very, very important tradition. When the prasad is given out, it's supposed to be given to 5 Khalse first. Yeah? Then when the 5 Khalsa have eaten, then it's then given out to the rest of the Sangat. Once the prasad has been blessed by the Khalsa, then it gets given out to the rest of the Sangat. Because Guru Sahib gets offered it first. And the Khalsa is the Guru. What we see nowadays is, they just take out 5 portions, put them in a bowl, and then they put it back in. Then they eat, and then they give it out to everybody else. The reason they do that is, sometimes you can't find 5 Khalsa in a Gurdwara. Yeah? And that's the shame, isn't it, nowadays? Right? And I can tell you, you might think it's sad. When my grandfather was here, after 84, you couldn't take Amrit in this. Before 84, you couldn't take Amrit in this country. There wouldn't be Panj Pyare. There'd be 1 or 2 people in any Gurdwara who was Amritari. It was hard to take Amrit. We're so lucky now to be able to get an Amrit Sanchar nearly every week across this country. You couldn't take Amrit. You had to wait for people to come from India who were the Panj Pyare, who were touring around. Then you would take Amrit.
WhyGuru, WhyGuru.